Hello, and you join us for our review of the latest episode of Doctor Who, Hellbent, which was also the finale for this series of Doctor Who. This is also going to be our sort of summary and our thoughts of the series overall. We're starting off with my thoughts this week, and I was disappointed. The episode, I had high hopes after last week's, because I enjoyed it for the most part. Got a bit tedious towards the end of last week's, but opened up with we're back on Gallifrey, Time Lords are back.
And that lasted all of 20 minutes.
Yeah, it really did.
Guess what my biggest bugbear of this episode is?
Razalon?
I miss Timothy Dalton, yes. This one was a bit too... I don't know, Timothy Dalton can scream and shout and there's a weird bit of charisma to it. This one was... It wasn't bad, it just wasn't Timothy Dalton. I missed Timothy
No, what
Dalton.
the difference was, there wasn't a focus on the Time Lords.
No, he looked barely in it.
As I saw on an internet post of someone, this episode, more than anything, was a tribute to Clara, rather than the whole crash, bang, boom, boom finale Gallifrey type thing they were expecting and hoping for, which is kind of what I wanted.
Yeah, I wanted some shit to get wrecked.
I wanted stuff to happen. Again, we'll say it now. If you're watching this week's review, spoilers, but you're watching a review, so you should know already.
Don't want spoilers, stay off Twitter.
And on Facebook.
Or just internet in general.
Yes. Anyway, the whole end bit of the memory wiping made sense, because they established that quite early on. Which obviously suggests the idea of, well, Clara is going to die, but we're going to have this moment before she goes back in and she...
What also annoys me, retcon of death. Which I knew was going to happen to Stephen Moffat.
Is it technically a retcon of death?
She's not dead anymore, so I'm counting it.
There's a couple references in there that I'll get to that in a bit that I think might have been made with it. But the whole Doctor forgetting Clara. I don't mind it. I don't like it, though. It just feels weird. I don't like it, really. That's about all I can say on the matter. It's just a matter of personal taste. It didn't quite gel with me. And it almost undid the wonderful scene that we had with Clara's death scene. Clara had a brilliant death scene. That was a brilliant way to say goodbye to a companion. And they kind of undid it.
It's having shit on it.
No, it wasn't even that. It was literally, we're undoing it.
Yeah, the shit on the death. Jeremy Hayes shit on the death scene. They're not actually dead. And like, well, that entire emotional journey was fucking pointless.
I liked that bloody scene.
I like that scene. Mainly because Clara died.
Jenna and Peter were brilliant. They were brilliant. The acting in this was very good, and this as well. But it didn't quite fit. It didn't gel for me for some reason. And I was really let down by the whole thing. Because, again, it was a kind of the Doctor trying to save or trying to make sure that he could say goodbye to Clara and try and save her, which I completely understand. I almost wanted him, as he said last week, can't I just lose this once? I almost wanted him to lose. Which the Doctor did lose, but he lost by his own design. When he loses a companion, it's they choose to leave, which is their choice, and the Doctor usually respects it, or they're killed. Sometimes the Doctor, or we do the Donna type thing where he's not given another option. Which is the most brutal option. It's the idea of, I have to be the one to do this. This week's was losing them of his own accord, but at the same time, we don't actually deal with the loss of the character. The audience don't get that. We don't get to really say goodbye to Clara, because she's still around. And although she's left on a nice happy note. And really annoyed, in theory, of course, that does leave the door open for her returning.
Better not.
I doubt it. Moffat said...
Unless it's evil Clara, then yes.
No, but she's back to being Osgood now, remember? That Zygon one. Bonnie. Or Zygella, which is still the name I prefer. I don't know. I generally just didn't like the way this episode kind of wrapped up. Yeah, the return of Shielder, which you knew was coming because we saw her in the trailer for last week. We saw her in the trailer for this week last week. I preferred... I don't know where I would have gone with this one. Generally, I didn't like it. It let me down.
Oh god, it's another.
I'm not... No. This isn't me going, no. This isn't me panicking.
God.
This isn't a crisis. This isn't a fight.
This is my faith being crushed.
No, this is me being disappointed by what was hopeful for a good episode. This is just... I disagree with some of the decisions that were made.
the entire second 2/3 of the episode, basically.
By and large, I don't know how I would have taken it, but that's not the way I would have taken it. What they did with it there, because I don't quite understand really what happened. A lot of it did kind of didn't. I was watching and I was taking it in, but a lot of me was going. I'm not quite understanding why they're doing this, or what the end game is here. The end game was save Clara. I don't know why they were doing the bits they were doing along the way. We don't know what We still don't know what Clara said to him in the crypt. We never will.
Well, at this point, if he would, it would probably be very disappointing.
Yeah, I know.
Let's keep the mystery going.
I have to admit, I did quite like the idea of taking Clara's theme from the soundtrack and actually turning that into something in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he played, I think that's Clara's song. I recognise it, which is quite clever of them. I almost got a Douglas Adams reference in there as well.
He did write those, I think, back in the day.
He did write some of the books on that, didn't he?
He wrote some episodes. He also wrote the episodes.
He wrote some of the episodes. Human Nature, which is the one with David Tennant, with Martha,
yes.
and he becomes human. That was based on one written by him, I think, as well.
I don't know.
I think I could be slightly mistaken there, but I know he wrote episodes because the whole restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah. That's
the sequel to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It's the second one in the trilogy of 4.
Yep. Is it 5 now?
I don't know, but
because I know Ian Colfer wrote a 5th one, which is canon. It is.
Douglas Adams will go home.
He's dead.
I know, but
sad to say, and that made me a little upset saying that. I know.
Yeah, I still feel sad.
Bits of the episode were all right. I quite liked the opening, with the Doctor actually not saying a word for most of it. Because I was very much getting this sort of Clint Eastwood, the man with no name type vibe from that. Because it was a kind of a Western feel to it as well.
Nevada.
Yeah. No, not the bit in Nevada.
Oh, the bit in Nevada.
The bit on Gallifrey.
Oh, yeah. The
bit on Gallifrey where he was just silent, but he was menacing, and you knew you didn't mess with him. With the soup. That was very good. I really liked all of that stuff on Gallifrey, because it was the Doctor being threatening but not doing anything. That was a very strong Clint Eastwood type thing. The tough guy you don't mess with, but he doesn't say anything. Silent gunslinger type thing. You know what I mean? Yes. Man with no names.
Yes, I have seen Westerns.
Yeah. Then it all just went a bit wrong.
Can you pinpoint the exact moment?
Yes, I can.
Oh, can you? The exact moment it just falls apart. Go on then.
Clara.
The moment she comes back.
The moment she came back. All right, no, I could have bared with her coming back and then doing something but staying in the room. Yeah. The minute the Doctor tries to save her, for the most part, I didn't have any major problems with it for a long time, up until maybe the point where they escaped Gallifrey.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went, no, you've let me down here. Because I don't really know what you're doing with the story now, other than you're trying to save Clara. You've brought the Time Lords back, but then suddenly just kind of they're not there really. They're sort of, they've gone in the background now.
Yeah.
Equally, is a lot of. I don't know quite why they did that, because they just kind of just shuffled off to the back, being not important anymore.
Clara was back. Make room for Clara.
The Time Lords back is you are doing this to wind me up.
Why would I ever do that? I've never done that before.
Yes. Which is weird, because a lot of people I know who hated Clara have actually come around to her in this series.
No, I still hate her.
You're the only one I know.
Vehemently hate her, except for that Zygon episode. It wasn't technically her, but good performance.
It was a good performance.
Yeah.
I really liked Clara. But this episode I still think her best goodbye was her death scene, though, in Face the Raven.
Yeah.
And I can't wreck on this episode either, because at the same time, the Doctor has literally forgotten her. Which is almost... It's tragic. It's tragic that the Doctor has forgotten one of his companions, which is the first time. But he remembers parts of it. The only trouble is he doesn't remember He doesn't remember what she looks like or how she sounds or anything like that, but he remembers what they did. Which is quite tragic, because in a lot of ways it made me go, that's quite sad, actually, because the idea of he's got half memories, he's got stories of her that he's got in his head, but he can't remember doing it. Which my immediate mind kind of went to sort of dementia, Alzheimer's type thing. Which is terrible. It's the idea of having someone but not really there. You've got the shadow of them. Then, of course, now we've got our spin-off with the restaurant at the end of the universe featuring Clara, and featuring technically dead Clara and the immortal Ashilda, the immortal.
Featuring voice doesn't break an octave and so punchable I want to hit her. You can decide which one's which.
Don't know. I couldn't pick between the two who you're deciding. I know which
Then
one.
it's up for interpretation.
I can't work out which of the two you're referring to with it. No, the episode generally it didn't feel like a finale.
Yeah, it didn't. Nothing blew up. Or not enough stuff blew up.
Every finale we've had it's our big complaint for the last finale.
I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, yeah. Now I've just remembered. That's
We remembered it, and we thought, as a finale, as an episode, it's all right. As a finale, it doesn't quite work because the stakes aren't high enough. This one had no stakes whatsoever. There was no threat particularly. This was just the Doctor trying to save Clara.
Yeah.
Without us really knowing exactly how he was going to do it. Which works for the most part, but there needs to be this overarching threat feel, I feel. Or something. There needs to be some stakes. And obviously you had the stakes are he's going to lose Clara. Didn't exactly feel impending, though. Because of the way they delivered it with this kind of... with having the story of the Doctor telling us this to Clara. And obviously the reason they did all that was to make us think that she was the one who had her memory wiped.
Yeah.
Then that twist of, oh, it was the Doctor. Which at the same time you can kind of see coming along because you're thinking, oh, you won't be hurt.
Yeah.
The memory wiped. They did kind of gloss over the whole, is the Doctor half human type thing. Which I'm quite glad they did, with the Doctor going, does it matter?
Yeah.
Which is very much the way of how he deals with all these rumours, things that is it important? Not really. We just move past it, fair enough. The episode let me down. I was really hoping for something.
Yeah, take it into a room, have Stern talking to it.
No, I just kind of want to leave it alone. This is the one episode I've had, really, this series, when I kind of go, I don't want to watch this one ever again. It's just, I've got no reason to do it, to watch it. High Hopes didn't come along. We had the return of Rassilon and the Time Lords, this one I glossed over. We had the General's Regeneration.
Yes.
Which I quite liked. Particularly with her first line back of, that was the only time I've ever been a man. How do you cope with that much ego?
Don't know, have you seen feminists online if you want a fucking ego?
That's different. They don't represent the entirety of the gender.
I say they're not women. Most of them aren't, to be fair, but that's another even bigger story.
They're not, but let's be fair, there are varying... I'm not going to get drawn... I'm going to say this much on the feminist argument, and then we're moving forward.
Or back. Time travel, who knows?
Feminism is a broad spectrum of things that there are some people who will argue one thing and say they're feminists, there are people who will argue the same thing. In my idea, the idea of feminism is the equality of all genders, not the supremacy of either one. And I'm leaving it at that.
That's the speech prepared for by his lawyer to say at the press conference when this inevitably goes to court.
That's all I'm saying on the matter. I'm not getting drawn into it on the whole feminism argument, but I quite liked that bit. Lines I liked. There were a lot of lines in this I quite liked. The Doctor was a lot more scatterbrained in this one, which would suggest he actually remembered the whole 2 billion years. Of course, as we know, he doesn't. So when he died in the last episode, he came back, he didn't realise that he'd been there before. He might have worked it out, but he didn't have the memories of it over that 2 billion years. Only the awareness that he'd been through it all, which is a strange concept to have, really, to know you've gone through it, but not have any physical replications or memories of it. Really, this one was a lot of playing around with the Doctor's head, really, these two episodes, actually, when I think about it, in terms of memories and everything. We had the return of the guitar, of course.
Yes.
Didn't mind it so much this week.
No, it's less of it.
Less of it, which is the key thing. You got anything to add?
Other than the Time Lords being fucking pointless entirety. Is Gallifrey back or not still? Because I lost track of that.
It's not in a pocket universe, which is where they thought they were.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the time stream, at the end of the universe.
Convenient.
Which in theory means it's still stuck there. But they can't. But they know where it is now, so they could go back.
Back it up, people. Back it up. Come on. It's image now.
Because of course the point is that Clara and that are going to eventually go back to the plan would be for them to eventually go back to Gallifrey at some point. No idea when or how or anything, but that's not our business anymore because she's not in it.
Yeah, that's what you think.
It won't be. Jenna Coleman's left. She might come back for it's the whole thing of like for anniversary specials. She's a character who might come back.
Yeah.
That's unlikely. because she's not exactly like a companion who left. Even then, if she did come back, the Doctor wouldn't know her, so there's a very difficult way to write her back in. It's not like they were able to do with Sarah Jane, who was a companion who left and returned. Like what they were able to do with Martha.
With K9. Don't forget K9.
I haven't forgotten K9.
No one should forget K9.
No one should forget
Next
Sarah
companion
Jane.
for next season.
No one should forget Sarah Jane.
K9. I know.
I'm saying again, no one should forget Sarah Jane.
All that, but K9. I know.
It's the same way that Martha left, but she could come back.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do that with Donna. You couldn't do that with Rose. You couldn't do that with Amy O'Rourke. All those characters are gone. They're gone to us. They can't return. Clara, in theory, could return, but it's in a way that would have to be a bit clever. Which is more the idea of a reference to the audience would get, but the Doctor might not. Who knows? Doctor might get his memories back one day. Wouldn't put it past him.
Doctor or Stephen Moffat?
Moffat.
Well, I'm past him.
I don't know. Someone might do it. People like Clara. I like Clara by and large. You don't, I know, but nevertheless.
This season cemented my hatred for her. It was last season had Danny Pink who cemented my hatred for him.
He was only in for that one series.
Yeah, which is good.
Clara is now the longest-serving companion of Modern Who, if memory serves. In terms of years. Yeah, I think she is now the longest-serving. Because Amy and Rory were around for the longest as well. I think Clara's been around for just longer. I don't know. The episode let me down. Really? That's about as much as I can say. Do you want Mum's thoughts?
Oh yeah, we need to forget.
Oddly enough, Mum agrees with us, as she usually does.
Well done, Mum.
She kind of lost. She's adopted by. She's the internet's mum. She's our mum collectively.
That
she's the channel's mum.
She's everyone's mum. That's kind of creepy, though. When you think about it.
She's like Mom from Futurama.
Or just Bioshock 2, if you want to get weirdly altruistic about this. She's everyone's mother.
No, Mum was disappointed by it. She kind of lost track of it. She was having a texting conversation with a friend of hers throughout the whole of it, who was also watching it. Do you want me to get their views on it as well?
Yeah.
These are our friends of the family, Amy and Graham. They've never liked Peter Capaldi's Doctor. They've not liked him. They've not liked him from the start. They also don't. They also think the writing's gone downhill. They haven't liked Moffat particularly as a writer either. They
can see why.
They've not. They liked Matt Smith, but they haven't liked anything with Peter. And their consensus is the writing needs to change, or that he needs to go. Quite a staunch ultimatum.
I'd rather Moffat left than Capaldi stays.
I like Capaldi. I like Peter. I've liked generally Peter from the start, but we know we've had bad episodes, and they've gotten better this series. But should we do the series summary here as well, since we've got that kind of nice reward?
That was their thoughts, just that ultimatum.
More or less, they didn't like the episode particularly. They didn't quite understand where it was. Same with my mum. She lost track of bits of it. She thought it was a bit of. My mum thought it was anticlimactic.
Like what? So, oh my god, time not. This is going to be epic.
Oh.
What?
All right, moving away from all that.
Okay, so yeah, they're back. Oh yeah, brief Dalek, brief Weeping Angel, brief Cyberman, like brief as fuck. And
that's all we have of them.
What there's left over in the protocol. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a Dalek, a Weeping Angel,
and a Cyberman.
And Cyberman in the episode, like okay, what are you going to do? Oh okay, just basically scenery decoration.
Yeah, generally make the place a bit more threatening.
Yeah. Well, I did like the shades, wherever they were.
Yes,
they were quite good and creepy.
The wraiths.
Wraiths, yes.
The wraiths of the crypt, were they?
Yes, wraiths of the crypt. Yeah.
Those were good.
I like them.
I like those. We had the return of the Time Lord's wonderful sense of fashion.
I want one of those collars, man. Just do
it. Can you imagine the strain that I put on your back?
Yeah. Oh. Or if you get to take it off and you go to bed that night. Oh, my neck! Oh, then it just wraps around and becomes a cast.
Yes.
They're sentient. I have another cast on my neck. That's good. Oh yeah, I do like this kind of old fashion. It's just so fucking ridiculous.
To be fair, it's the ceremonial stuff as well as what they wear as well. So they're only the High Lords that wear that stuff like that. Because I always forget the Doctor was Lord President of the High Council at one point.
Yeah, Tom Baker was. That's a scary thought.
Not just Tom Baker, it was Sylvester McCoy as well. He was re-elected. Yeah, Resurrection of the Daleks.
I remember Tom Baker.
He was as well.
That's just scary. Him in a position of power.
Him in an outfit. I remember seeing
yes,
that.
Yes, I've seen him in.
That's weird. Should we do thoughts on the series as a whole then?
Yeah. Do you want to do this?
I'll let
episode or
We can do it overall, and then we can pinpoint points that we liked and didn't like.
Overall, who's going first?
You, because I did overall for the episode, so you.
Liked the Daleks. Mostly like the second one, the underwater one.
Yeah.
Yeah, underwater one. Third one was.
King.
Third one was.
It's all two-parters, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking the third one was. Was that a Shielder? The third one?
Yeah.
Or was it the fourth one? Or was there one in between?
Hang on. Yes, that was a Shielder.
That was dull for most of it. Like dull for the first one, and actually made me want to punch someone for the second part. Except for Rufus Hound, he was quite funny.
Then it was Zygons.
Zygons I liked. First one was a bit, but I did like the second one. Part of that, the inversion.
Then we had the Sandman.
Oh,
Sleep No More.
I say Sandman. I like Marvel. What? I've come around to like that. The way it was told annoyed me, but I hate edited and found footage films. But the idea, and if they are going to do a sequel to that, I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it.
Mm.
Then it was
Face the Raven.
Then it's the three-parter, which was
three-parter finale.
Liked their trip to Diagon Alley. Liked Peter's old solo episode. For the most of it, it did start to drag by the end. You know, I felt like I was there for several billion years. And this episode was a large, fetid pile of disappointment. Done.
I'd agree with all of that generally, as in the consensus of the point I liked in it, because we've agreed for nearly every single point this season. We haven't had any disagreements on bits we liked or didn't like.
No.
There are moments where we kind of had slightly differing views on how much we liked or disliked it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had, at the time, you had a bigger problem with Sleep No More than I did.
Yeah, that's more than just the way it's told.
Yeah, that's because of that, and I have no views on found footage.
That annoy me, but I like. Okay, Sandman word just looked like someone sneezed up. But the idea of Sleep, and since they are doing a sequel, it might. If they do a sequel, it's not a found footage film.
Yeah, in theory, it wouldn't need to be found footage anymore because we've already got.
I might like it, the idea a bit more. I liked what's his face who played the Doctor, not Gary Oldman. I've forgotten his name.
It's Reece Shearsmith.
Yeah, him. If you remember the character's name.
Oh, Rasmussen.
Yeah. I liked him. He was good for his epic twist that no one saw coming. By no one, I mean everyone. So yeah, overall it's been. It's not too. Overall it's been.
It's better than last season.
Oh fuck yeah! But that's really not a high bar.
Generally, for the most part, we've had bigger peaks, fewer troughs, but the troughs have been deep still. So overall, I would rate it as a good season. Average, again.
Good.
But every season has complaints, but this hasn't been a brilliant season. It's had a lot of good hitters, though, for the most part, actually. I'd say we've had a lot of good hitters. Trouble is, you had some very bad ones that almost made up for it.
It all came out even in the end.
No, overall, I'd probably say it was better than last. Well, you agree it's
better than last year, but I remember saying last year is such a fucking low bar to hit.
Yeah, to be fair.
It's not that high. It's damn very praise.
To be fair, I think we liked nearly every episode. The only ones we haven't liked were this week's finale.
This week's the finale, which, again, it's the thing you remember, or any story, how it begins and how it ends. And the ending really pisses you off. It ruins the whole thing.
Yeah,
just look at Mass Effect 3.
Really, the only ones we didn't like were this one and the Ashilda double bill. Otherwise, we liked all the others.
Otherwise, it was alright. Some were better than others.
But we all liked them for the most part. There were moments we got a bit disappointed, but we still liked them overall.
Mm-hmm.
Some things they underused a little bit. Would have liked to see a bit more of the Fisher-Price King. It's a name we're coining. I'm coining
Fisher-Price King. A joke that only works, I think, in England.
Yeah, probably does, actually. It might work in the States. I have no idea. If you are American and you're listening...
Fuck, I have the internet.
I was going to say, let us know if you've ever heard of Fisher-Price.
I have. The internet. Fisher-Price.
Overall, I've enjoyed this series.
It's a Fisher-Price wiki. Oh no, Fisher-Price is actually an American company.
I thought it was.
So yeah, that joke does work.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, but the finale's let me down, really, quite a bit. Oh! We can talk about a few little things, though.
What?
We have seen the end of the Sonic sunglasses.
Thank God.
With the brand new Sonic screwdriver.
Mm-hmm. Buy your toy now. Just time for Christmas. Kids, budge your parents till you get one.
It's not out yet. I've been looking.
Is it out before Christmas?
Not seen anything for it. If it is out, it won't be out until probably post-Christmas.
Oh, yeah, they would have had a much deeper close-up on it and long shots of it if they were trying to sell toys.
It'll be out post-Christmas, I'm willing to bet. I've not seen it. If it was out, we would have already seen pictures of it. Because we've only just seen pictures of it. We saw pictures of it with the promo stuff they've done for the Christmas special.
Yeah.
The picture going, oh, he's a new sonic screwdriver, which obviously we've just seen return in this episode. I quite like the design of the new one.
Yeah, it's better than sunglasses, anyway.
Anything's better than sunglasses.
Yeah, they can fuck off.
It's also very different than the Max one. It's got a slightly more crystal look to it as well. Which is quite interesting. I'm looking forward to getting the toy version of that. I can say that because my mum doesn't listen to this.
Just quickly text his mum. Alex is buying another sonic screwdriver. Please stop him. He has a problem.
What do you mean? I've only got the one.
I can stop whenever I want.
I get one from whenever they do a new screwdriver. I get one. So I've got one of Matt Smith's. I've got one of the Eccleston Tenant Years, which is actually from it's a Ninth Doctor one, and I have a laser screwdriver. That's all I have. I've got 3. All right, 2 Sonics and 1 laser, but nevertheless.
They made toy with a classic screwdriver.
They've done them for them. I haven't bought any of those.
I like classic.
Nor have I bought the War Doctors one, because they had one. They released one after the 50th for that. Seen them, not bought them yet. Yet.
The keyword there is yet, I think.
Keyword is yet. Again, I can say this. Mums doesn't listen to this. She finds us too long and boring.
Well, I agree on the boring part.
I've already told you, my mum's thoughts are succinct. It's maybe a couple sentences, and that's how my mum wishes these episodes would be for us. Then she'd listen. We've even joked about going, yes or no on the episode? Yes, good. Join us next week.
For one.
Can't now. Do it for Christmas.
We don't do one for Christmas. We're not around.
Oh yeah, we do one post-Christmas, don't we?
No, we did. We never did one back last Christmas special.
No, we don't because it's Christmas Day.
Yeah, but the time I've forgotten. And to be fair, all the Christmas specials, most of them aren't worth watching because they aren't exactly brilliant.
David Tennant's was. It was his end one. End of time.
Yeah, but I said most of them.
It also went on to New Year, actually. It was a double bill.
Like, it's going to be a Christmas theme in some very loose way, because they all are.
This one looks weird.
I didn't watch trailer for it.
I did.
I'll watch it half drunk on Christmas Day.
Looks weird, but fun.
I know Matt Lucas and Greg Davies are in it, and River Song.
They are. Greg Davies plays the giant cyborg thing.
And River Song's back for some reason.
Yeah, but not knowing that he's the Doctor. Which would be interesting. Which makes me curious as to what point in her timeline that is. Well, no, it actually doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense at all, because the only 2 Doctors she ever met were Matt Smith, were 11 and 10. She never met this one. Which is interesting.
Any other points you want to talk about other than Sierra?
I can't remember. That's about it, really.
More talks on Gallifreyan fashion.
No.
Or lack thereof.
No, because the trouble is, when I watched the trailer for the Christmas specials, I was still in the mood of disappointment.
Christmas is ruined. Doctor's ruined Christmas.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, Christmas is cancelled. It's off, kids. It's off.
It slightly muddied this episode a little bit for me.
Give me the rifle. I'm shooting Santa.
I might be able to go back and rewatch this and change my thoughts on it a little bit, but I need to give it some time. Let my brain process it all a little bit.
Expects the disappointment.
It's not just that, it's I know what's going on, so I can watch it a bit differently, process it all. But yeah, the episode's really let me down, really, actually. I high hopes for this week. I know you worked... What was the words you used last week? I can't remember what it was.
Going to everything expecting it to be shit.
Yes.
If it's brilliant, you're like, hey, it's great, you're happy. If it's shit, you're just, well, I expect it to be shit.
So did it live up to those expectations?
Of being shit, yeah. Well, could have been worse. I'm just annoyed the Time Lords didn't do anything, and it was
I don't know.
Time Lords, hey!
To be fair,
Clara!
It was just kind of it was just there. It was a bit of a damp squib. It wasn't bad. It's not like, oh my god, this is awful writing. It wasn't bad writing. It was just uninteresting.
Which you argue is bad writing.
Because
it's uninteresting.
Yeah, all right. Poor choice of words. It wasn't compelling.
Compelling, yeah. That's also bad writing and bad character writing.
All right, I'm trying to find the best way for this because
it wasn't bad, technically badly written, but there was no
there we go.
flair, no je ne sais quoi.
Yes,
There was nothing drawing you in. Just like every single Tomb Raider game written by random patrons. There's just nothing there.
If I could sum up, every episode or two pastoral storyline has had a big high point for me. A bit I can remember that sticks in my head very clearly. The Daleks one, most of that sticks in my head, particularly towards the end, because you have the whole bit of Clara and the Dalek.
Yes.
That bit.
With
The Price King, we had the Doctor's lovely bit of a speech to the Fisher-Price King, and that whole sequence there, and the ghosts. The next one with the Shielder, I don't like it, but I can remember bits of it that stick out to me quite a bit. I can remember them quite clearly. Zygons goes without saying, it's Peter's anti-war speech.
Yes.
Which is still brilliant and particularly relevant in recent news, I still think. Then we had Sleep No More. A whole episode sticks in my head quite nicely, because it's a very different way of retelling it. Face the Raven, Clara's death. You're not going to forget that, because it was a brilliant end to the... It was a brilliant way to say goodbye to Clara. And a brilliant... Generally, I really liked that end sequence, because we saw a terrifying version of the Doctor. We then had last week's. You remember the whole episode, because it's just the Doctor. The whole episode.
And Hogwarts.
And Hogwarts. It was Diagon Alley the week before, so it was.
Yeah, see, it's weird. So was this one? This one was Deathly Hallows Part 1. Kind of disappointing.
Never seen Deathly Hallows, couldn't comment.
I saw Part 1 and went, fuck it.
Yeah, this one was
Well, Part 2 will have all the action. It's any two-parter when they split something into two.
If I had to describe this as anything, it's the undoing of Face the Raven. You undid what made Face the Raven so brilliant. Almost. And kind of saying goodbye to Clara, but it's also the Doctor forgetting Clara. Big plot points, but otherwise there's no lines or dialogue that particularly jump out to me as being, that's really good. That's going to stand out to me and I'll remember that. You get bits I thought were clever. Like I said, the General, when she regenerated. That was clever. But otherwise, the episode let me down, which is poor ending to the series. Because otherwise, we've had some really nice strong hitters. I was even more disappointed with Moffat saying it's going to be a bit devastating.
Well, it was, just not the way I think he was expecting.
Yeah,
and,
I agree with that.
Unless he was the way he was expecting, then he's just trolling us or something.
He is.
Yeah. He's watching the internet.
It's not exactly... no, it wasn't emotionally devastating, which is what I was expecting. Kind of hoping for as well, actually. Because with an emotionally devastating one, it's good writing.
As long as it's devastating for the right reasons.
Yeah, for the right reasons.
Then it's poor writing, but it's not...
You know what I mean?
Different type of devastating.
Yeah. Emotionally devastating as in you are compelled to feel sad or in that kind of way because of what's happened on screen, and it works and it still fits the emotional journey of the characters and the plot.
And predominantly, you give a shit. And this episode was lacking.
For instance, if we have a sad goodbye to Clara's goodbye was strained because it wasn't really a goodbye.
No.
Because the Doctor didn't know her. So, I have to admit, him saying goodbye in the TARDIS was very sad.
Oh.
Wasn't compelled to tears or anything, though. And I did shed a tear. Alright, I shed a few. Clara's death in Face the Raven. That really upset me.
I shed tears, just not necessarily of sadness.
Yours was...
Joyful leaping across the road. That wasn't, I can't be asked to leave.
This one wasn't like that. Because it didn't quite feel like a goodbye. And it didn't feel like they did... It didn't feel like the closing of a chapter, really, either. It just felt like the end of a sentence. Just kind of just leaving it there. So that's the end.
Gotta get their spin-off.
Exactly. But they're not getting a spin-off.
I know not, but...
Because for one thing, Jenna Coleman's gone off to become Queen Victoria.
Has she?
Yeah, ITV Special are doing a series about... And she's Queen Victoria.
Does she meet a pair of assassins? No, okay. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you meet Queen Victoria because you meet...
No, I was also going to say, of course, at some point later on, when she visits Scotland, she has an encounter with a werewolf.
There's still no werewolf in the Assassin's Creed Syndicate yet. Just putting it around.
Yes.
Everything else, there's weird Doctor Who, and it's English, there's Doctor Who. Like, this is weirdly Doctor Who. Charles Dickens is chasing ghosts. There's a little girl called Clara, who is also irritating, but she's Charles, the most children in fiction are irritating.
And of course, you've got Maisie Williams, who is in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Meaning you've got two of the... Jenna Coleman's actually... This has been a brilliant restart to her acting career.
It usually is, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is a brilliant way to kind of... You're suddenly
popular TV show.
with a very large fan base.
Yes.
And so actually, as a TV series, as we've seen, TV series are generally better than films a lot of times to showcase your acting. As we were having a conversation earlier today, I think, actually.
Oh, he had to go hunt down his rogue agent.
I had to go hunt the rogue work member, which we did find.
And he's now been terminated with extreme prejudice.
Yes.
He won't be spilling our secrets.
Not that he was to begin with. Might have gone slightly overzealous.
He's at the bottom of the... There's not a river in Edinburgh, is there?
Yeah, it's the first of the fourth.
I'm familiar. He's at the bottom of there with
Because it goes over the Forth Rail Bridge.
a concrete
overcoat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Or the concrete slippers.
The slippers are the mafia thing. Concrete slippers.
Both actually are mafia things. A concrete overcoat or the concrete slippers.
Yeah, just at the bottom of the river. He won't be telling anyone. He won't be squealing. It's now a mafia thing.
Yeah, actually that's
Scottish mafia.
It exists.
Because it actually does.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to say really in terms of thoughts.
Just disappointed.
Yeah, disappointed. The series overall, we liked it for the most part. Had some very good moments. Had some poor ones as well.
Yeah.
That's about it really.
Really?
We hope you've enjoyed listening to our reviews of this series of Doctor Who. If you haven't, tough. You've been listening to it either way, so hey. Slightly bad mood, I know.
Someone needs a lollipop, I think.
Can it be apple flavoured?
No.
Oh.
You get what you're given and be happy with it. For fuck's sake, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, sure.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed listening to it. We hope you've listened to it as well, obviously. We hope you've enjoyed listening to our reviews on it. So with that being the end of the series, not sure whether we'll end up doing a review for Christmas, because over Christmas time, it's Christmas. Hence, it's called Christmas time.
Yay. Not today, I will have a massive hangover.
Yes, if we do a review for the Doctor Who Christmas special, it will be a few days later. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, actually.
We might until we go.
Depending on
You're travelling not long after Christmas.
Yeah, I'm travelling.
We have this conversation, we're not recording.
Yeah. So there probably will be one. But if not, you can join us, well, when the next series of Doctor Who's out, which will be sometime next year.
I expect.
I don't think it's got dates confirmed for it yet. I think it's going to be same time as this year was.
I expect so.
Just sort of
film it very
autumn.
quickly. I know.
Yeah. So yes, thank you very much, and hope to hear from you shortly.